Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm Laura Hopkins with 7 Oily Days, and tonight our conversation is going to be about my addiction. Anybody else have this problem? I am addicted to NingXia Red, and not a lot of people. Well, actually, a lot of people are willing to say that. It's one of those addictions that is not a bad addiction, and as long as I can continue to see the results, I will continue to be addicted. So it is, I think it's been, goodness, so in about less than 6 months now, I will be celebrating my 16th anniversary with Young Living. So I am very much a sweet 16 teenage year that I'm having here with my NingXia Red obsession. And it's something that a lot of people in the beginning, kind of when I first started with Young Living, I got my oils and there were these little packets of NingXia Red and okay, I'll try it. But I didn't really fully understand what I had. I didn't have, and Joanna's shaking her head too. It's like, we really didn't know what we had when we opened up those little packets. And I know people that even got the oils and didn't even really pay attention to the packets. But whenever we talk about NingXia, I want to go back and give a little background. If you all have this book, this is this is the D. Gary Young, the world leader in essential oils. This is a book that chronicles how Gary started the company, how Young Living came to be, Gary and Mary, and it's beautifully illustrated, has a lot of good information and detail in it. I love looking at all the pictures and seeing all this information from over the years and seeing all the farms as they progressed. But there's an entire section on wolfberry. And there's also, it talks about how Gary went to China, to the Ningxia province in China. And that's still where our NingXia wolfberries come from today. They are the puree, the NingXia puree is actually processed here in the United States, but the wolfberry themselves, we get the puree here and we can take the wolfberry and make other things with it. That's where, we have our nitro, we have our zing, we have the other products that have wolfberry in them, but this is where they come from. And it's not just the juice of the wolfberries. I want to be very clear about that. It is the entire berry. So you're getting the seeds, you're getting the skins, you're getting the peels, you're getting every part of the wolfberry is coming whenever you get that puree. And that's really what is so amazing about the berry is it's not just the juice, it is the entire fruit with all of its important ingredients. And so I want to break down some of those tonight and talk about the nutritional profile. One of the things a lot of people hear, they hear wolfberry. It's a strange name, but it is known commonly as a goji berry. There's many different varieties of goji berry. The wolfberry is specifically from the Ningxia province. Gary chose it over other goji berries because of its nutritional profile. Its botanical name is Lycium barbarum. And of course, the color of NingXia Red, we call it NingXia Red, as you guys can see. For you, those of you who don't have a bottle nearby, the color of NingXia Red is this deep crimson, beautiful color. And you can purchase it in bottles or in packets. I'm going to talk more about that later on. But that beautiful color is from the wolfberry. It is from that goji berry. That's where we get the name red. Now, antioxidants. A lot of people really, the greatest value of the goji berry is the antioxidants. Antioxidants, the formal definition is the substances that inhibit oxidation or reactions promoted by oxygen peroxides of free radicals. So oxidation outside of our bodies is known as rest. So when you break that down and think about it, so when you consume a diet high in antioxidants, you're helping your cells not rest. That's kind of how I explain it in layman's terms. The antioxidant power of NingXia wolfberries is, and the power of power of antioxidants is measured on something called the ORAC scale. That's the oxygen radical absorbance capacity scale. And ORAC units measure the total antioxidant power of foods and other chemical substances. The higher the ORAC value units, the better for potential health. And goji berries are at the top of that. They outperform pomegranates and blueberries and pretty much any other fruits that you can find that are considered your high antioxidants. When we talk about the importance of seed to seal with Young Living as well, we're not just getting the puree. We're making sure that the farms match our standards. So the quality, of course, is going to be you see it here. There's videos also that you can check out and see the actual process, and you can see where the goji berries are processed, where they're grown in China. And we want to make sure, just like our oils and other oil infused products, that NingXia wolfberries match the quality there. So Young Living works directly with vendors at the Wolfberry Farm and Distillery, and to grow and rigorously test for pesticides, heavy metals, and other potential contaminants. Once the wolfberries are harvested, they're cleaned and sent off to be pureed. And that's when they come to us. It's beautiful. I hope everybody is, how many of you tonight, I'm just going to stop and see by show of hands or commenting in the sections, how many of you all have never tried NingXia Red before? Okay, got one. I know Lena has. I know Jeannie has. I know Tammy has, and Erica has. You guys don't have your cameras on, so I can't tell. So this is a friendly crowd tonight. So whenever I tell you from a NingXia consumption standpoint, we're going to talk a little bit more about the benefits for the different body systems. You're going to get to understand this a little bit better. Last fall, we did a NingXia Red challenge, and I was asking people, what are some of the benefits that you had? So for those of you who have had benefits, who've seen some progress, and sometimes it's even more of like when you don't take NingXia Red, what happens? For those of you who've used NingXia Red, I want you to put your share in the comments, or wait till you're at the end, and I'll just let you be able to share verbally what you've experienced with it. One of my favorite stories is talking about what, when my husband had the opportunity to go to a men's camp, and he went to Tabiona, the farm out in Tabiona. Gary Young had recently purchased it, and they were having guys come out, and they, guys, how it is when you have Young Living events, and there's a lot of NingXia Red available. And at this event, apparently it was free flowing. Well, Gary had purchased the Tabiona ranch, and some of it it really needed a lot of work on the ranch. And one of the things was the plumbing was not necessarily up to par and needed a lot of work. So you get, 70 to 90, 100 guys out there who are drinking NingXia Red, multiple ounces a day, 2 ounces a day, 1 to 2 ounces a day is what everybody recommends. Can you guys, some of you are laughing and smiling just thinking about what that could entail, because I know what happens whenever, I'm really trying to get things moving digestively, which I don't have a lot of issues with constipation, but sometimes after a cleanse or during a cleanse, that can be a real go-getter, you know what I mean? And so they had a lot of plumbing, literal physical plumbing issues with the property there, because the men were using the restroom so often that we're backing up the plumbing at the ranch. So NingXia Red was doing the job. And whenever we enter into our cleanses, when we do these, we're getting ready to do a 5-day cleanse again at the end of next month. We do them throughout the year. And I love being able to do the cleanses because it gives all of us the opportunity to encourage one another. And NingXia Red is part of our cleanse. And if I didn't have NingXia Red on the cleanse, I just don't kind of know. I don't know. It would be a lot harder when we do the cleanse. So that's part of the 5-day nutritive cleanse with Balance Complete, and now Digest and Cleanse. It's back in stock. So for those of you who've never done that before, get started on your NingXia Red, and then start after start working on getting ready for that cleanse. That's a really good one. I want to touch on one other subject as we start to share here a little bit about your own testimonies. Whenever we make Young Living, of course, when they make a product available to the public, and NingXia Red is a global product, so it's not just U.S., it's in every market on that where Young Living serves. So it's going around the world. We have. And to make it available to those members, Young Living has to include naturally derived preservatives. You cannot sell NingXia Red without making sure that it follows FDA standards and, of course, whatever markets it's being sold in. And it also goes through a high temperature flash pasteurization to be able to make the wolfberries as bioavailable as possible. So there is a naturally derived sodium benzoate that allows Young Living to extend NingXia Red's shelf life, maintain product integrity, and protect the benefits of the wolfberry, all while keeping it free of naturally occurring microorganisms. So if you're interested in more about that, I'm going to put something in here. That is a little in the chat. That's a little bit more about the requirements, the preservative requirements for those of you who have an interest in that, and you can read it. There's the link right there for you guys. It is halal and kosher approved, and if unopened, it will remain. The shelf life could be up to 24 months from its production. So I've never had a bottle last that long, so I would not know. I'm sure many of you are probably the same way. There were a few years ago, I used to have bottles sitting out. They had those silver bottles of NingXia Red, and people were, saving them as collector's items. Well, a few people, my sister-in-law was one that she forgot about the collector's items, and she'd been using it, as kind of just as a display. And she went back later and she's like, I don't know. What do you think? Should I try to open it? Well, she did. I think it was like maybe a little over, not quite 3 years. She opened it. It was darker. She said, I don't think I'm going to give it a try, but a lot of people, you can smell it, and, if you don't feel comfortable with that's fine. But I know people who would drink it no matter how long it had been going. So not to say you should do that, but it's definitely Young Living does all that they can to keep it safe. The other ingredients besides the wolfberry are in the entire puree is the grapeseed extract, blueberry, plum, aronia berry. Are you guys familiar with what aronia is? It is from North America. It's commonly found in swamps and wetwoods. They're also known as chokeberries. So if you're familiar with that name, and they're highly packed with a lot of vitamins as well. The wolfberry Young NingXia Red also has cherry, pomegranate, and stevia, a little bit of stevia to naturally reduce the caloric content, but also give it its flavor. I remember back before Young Living switched to stevia, Young Living used to produce, really before agave was a popular thing, before it was so highly processed like it is now. Young Living used to actually have a blue agave that had a lower glycemic index, and they put it in NingXia Red. And during a spot check with one of the managers from Young Living that went down and did a spot check on the warehouse in Mexico where we got our blue agave, and they were very proud of this product that they were producing of blue agave that was almost completely similar to high fructose corn syrup. They were proud of that. And we shortly after changed over, and we no longer used that company for our blue agave. And we started adding stevia, which of course has, the 0 calories, but also gives some sweetness to it. For me, I wasn't a huge stevia fan before because it always tasted like licorice to me. What's funny is because now that I drink NingXia Red all the time, I don't have that aftertaste with stevia anymore that I used to have. So that's kind of a cool part of drinking NingXia Red every day. Also, there are 4 essential oils that are in NingXia Red. Do you guys know what they are off the top of your head? They're all citrus. So I'm going to see if anybody's got typed it in. Okay. Go ahead.
Lemon.
Lemon.
Tangerine.
Tangerine. That's two. Two more. Orange. Jeannie said orange. And yuzu. That's right. Rhonda got yuzu. So good job. So lemon, tangerine, orange, and yuzu are all of the oils that are in NingXia Red. Wonderful, beautiful NingXia Red. I can't imagine life without it. I want to share with you now a couple ways that we also, the best way to get NingXia Red. Let me see, here we go. There's Dr. Ollie Vinker. He wrote this book about essential rewards. I think it's interesting because it was his recommendation as a doctor on what you should put on your monthly order, on in your monthly subscription, in your monthly box. And he wrote this book many years ago. And the very first, what he recommended everyone put in their first subscription order was NingXia Red. It's doctor's orders, guys. And what he talks about is oxygen is indispensable. I'm going to read just directly from the book. Oxygen is indispensable for life. When cells use oxygen, free radicals are created as a consequence of energy production in the mitochondria. Free radicals can be created as a result of overall stress, radiation, increased metabolism, bad nutrition, disease, and pollution. Their accumulation in the body generates a phenomenon called oxidative stress. A little oxidative stress might be okay. You're like, oh, that's an odd thing to say. A little oxidative stress might be okay. But when it becomes overwhelming, it can be negative. So our bodies are, if they're producing a little bit of free radicals, that's something naturally, I believe that our bodies, if they're doing that as part of energy, when our cells are using oxygen, our body knows how to handle that. But if our bodies are overwhelmed with that poor diets, lack of exercise, if we're not taking care of our body, if we're not breathing good air, if we're not drinking good water, if we're not doing all the things that we need to do, if we're not taking care of our organs, we're not cleansing, if our liver is sluggish and overtaxed, then our response to the free radicals in our body is going to be slower. We're not going to be able to produce and produce the energy levels that we need. And too much oxidative stress is known to be a factor in the etiology or cause of several chronic degenerative diseases. And he goes on to list some things here. Cell membranes are particularly rich in unsaturated fatty acids and are sensitive to oxidative reactions. The DNA at the core of your cells carrying your genetic information is the target of severe attacks by free radicals. But fortunately, there are steps you can take with your nutrition to offset these effects. The Lycium barbarum produces a fruit which is known as the wolfberry, goji berry, and it's also known as the NingXia wolfberry. We already talked about because it grows in the Ningxia region of northern China. It's one of the most widely used and scientifically studied plants in Chinese herbal medicine. The NingXia wolfberry helps the body eliminate free radicals effectively and enhances the activity of antioxidant enzymes. So he goes on to list several studies here, and I even have more here that other studies that I think are really fascinating that all go back to overall wellness and health and how we can impact our own health with drinking NingXia Red. So the very first thing he says, if you're going to get on a monthly box with Young Living, have your monthly subscription, he says you need to have NingXia Red. So doctor's orders, we got to do it. The best way to do it, of course, is on your subscription. It is the most cost-effective way when people start looking at the cost. So when I get my NingXia Red, I always purchase it on my subscription. I get 4 bottles and a 30 pack. And my family actually will go through 2 of those in a month, if you can believe it. But we also stay out of, we avoid a lot of sickness. I have 3 children that are very active, that are going, and they don't go a day without NingXia Red. I also put mineral essence in there, NingXia Red. And some of us drink more than just our allotted 2 ounces a day. But if you break it down, it is $1.43 an ounce when you purchase NingXia Red on your subscription. It's the lowest you can get it at $1.43 an ounce. And you think about just investing in your health, $1.43 an ounce every month, or if you're going to do 2, so if you're going to spend $2.86 a day on your health. And we always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So it's nice to be able to have that insurance, so to speak, with NingXia Red. So I'm going to go back through here. I know several of you are excited to share just kind of your cool stories with NingXia Red. And I want to open the floor to anybody who has questions, but I want to hear first. I see Lena, you said you're totally addicted. She got started with Young Living. She immediately got on subscriptions with her NingXia Red. And I want you to go ahead and, Lena, can you share? I know you guys drink a lot of it. Your husband has had some amazing health challenges and recoveries with over the years. And so tell me why you drink it every day.
It's just, to me, we call it, the drink of Yahweh. We take it with communion, as the blood of Yeshua. So that has even more impact. But when I started with Young Living, I was looking for an antioxidant drink because my mom and my husband had both had extreme health issues with chaotic cells. And so I needed a very high antioxidant drink, and I did the research. I was not even looking at the oils. So I started with the Young Living with the NingXia Red, got on the subscription, and I have discovered that because we order so much NingXia, then you get the reward points. And so we buy more NingXia with the reward points. It comes out to like 90 cents an ounce. And you cannot beat that, less than $2. And yes, we do drink more than 2 ounces a day. It's just, we don't drink sodas. We don't drink those coffees. Those are my treats, is the NingXia Red. If I ran out one time and I had people calling me and saying, we'll bring you a bottle because they knew that we will not be without it. And I had bottles at my doorstep within the hour because they were like, no, you cannot be without your NingXia Red. I mean, I think they'd be afraid to see what I would be like without my NingXia. And we've just seen one miraculous thing after another. We've seen how it has helped his liver. It has helped his kidneys. It has helped his heart. When he's in the hospital, they let me give him the packets. And I've had several medical staff ask me what it is. I've had 2 nurses start buying it because they wanted it. His physical therapist wants to order some. So they understand, and these are medical people who know, because it's just miraculous what it can do. Just again, you talked about the ORAC scale. It's over 30,000 on the ORAC scale. If we understood, we cannot get away from the free radicals. They are everywhere. So we need to do what we can to, help the antioxidants pull those free radicals out. And NingXia Red that's always also what I recommend too. People say, what should I start with? I tell them, start with a NingXia and go from there, because we need to work from the inside to the outside. I've even had babies, we don't necessarily give it to them, but I will put a few drops on the bottom of their feet because the body will absorb it. And then they're not ingesting it and they don't have to process it that way, but you cannot put a little bit on the bottom of their feet too. So it's very healthy for everyone. You talked about your kids not being ill. My husband in and out of the hospital around sick people all the time. We bless Yahweh that we have nothing. Even the big, with what was this pandemic that went on, people would call me and apologize because they didn't realize they had it and had come to visit. And I'd say, we're fine. We've got our NingXia. We are good to go. And of course, your attitude is going to be what matters. If you think you cannot afford NingXia Red, you're never going to afford it. But if you decide that you matter and you are worth it, you will find a way to get the NingXia. There was literally one month when I first got started, and I've shared this in others, I did not have the money for my Young Living order. And I won $100 gift gift certificate from my upline. So I ordered my Ningxia, and just different things like that. I enter the contest. Laura has tons of contests every month. Show your subscription box. Let her know when you signed up, and you can win prizes all the time. And gather up your Ningxia. We have sold cheesecakes to buy Ningxia. We did not eat the cheesecake, but we sold them so we could order more Ningxia.
You're creating more customers that way. Here, we have oxidative stress. You need buy a cheesecake, and now you definitely need Ningxia.
Exactly. And it's just amazing. I am all about the Ningxia. I have a goal to get a bottle of Ningxia in the hands of everybody in this universe, and that's over 7 billion people. And that's one of my goals is, get that NingXia Red going. I am super excited about it.
What's going on? You said something about your eyesight. You've had improved eyesight.
Yes. When I was, back in the day, I'm 59, and back in the day, you would go to start school. You had to do, you see the fish, and it's this way or this way. Well, I had to get glasses when I was 6 years old, and the doctors had told my mom, the optometrist, that I would eventually be blind. And so every year, stronger glasses, stronger prescription. And then I was just praying, that God would heal my eyes, but every year a stronger prescription. Well, I started doing the Ningxia. I joined in 2015. I joined Young Living with the Ningxia starter kit, and I started drinking it. And so then go back into the doctor, and because my glasses were fuzzy, and no, my eyesight had improved. And every time I go in, they're like, your eyesight has improved. My husband is a master optician, as well as my oldest son. And when they saw my prescription, they wanted the doctor to do another exam because they could not believe how much my eyesight had improved. And that was before Illuminize, because add Illuminize when you can. But the NingXia Red just has made a whole difference in my eyesight. It has just improved every year, every time. Last time I went in about 4 months ago, he said, it's improved again. He said, not enough to change your glasses, but again, there's another improvement. And that was just from another year later. And so I just continue to believe that one day I can't see with these glasses, take them off and I'll be totally fine. That's what I'm believing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, totally helps support the eyes.
I just sent a link to the study that is all about zeaxanthin and lutein. And it talks about the importance of those two as far as eye health. Well, wolfberries have carotenoids, zeaxanthin and lutein, that are crucial for the retina, the health of the retina. And so when you drink NingXia Red, you're actually improving your eye health. Both of my sister-in-laws have testimonies of that, of what NingXia Red has done for their eye health. And that's pretty amazing. We continue to use it in our home. And I'm excited to see some testimonies that we have of it as well. Jeannie had a testimony here about her iron levels. Jeannie, can you share a little bit about that? You said you had blood work done. And maybe you might be able to unmute yourself right now. She's been texted. She said, I drink it to keep my, there you go. Okay, good.
Yeah. There a while back when we had the snowstorm, you and I had the nasty snowstorm. My iron levels went down because I didn't have my NingXia. When I did my blood work, I didn't have my NingXia for about 2 to 3 weeks before I went in for my blood work, and my iron was down. So that's what I figured it has to be. And before I started drinking the NingXia real strongly, my cancer doctor had said something that my iron was real low. So I said, I'll try something. Plus taking iron pills, plus taking the NingXia has gotten my iron levels back up to where they belong. And then recently, when we had that storm, they went down. And I told my doctors, because I haven't had my vitamin drink. I call it my vitamin drink so that they understand. But
it's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
If I don't have my NingXia, my iron goes down.
I love that story. Well, it's just a testimony to, you have people that what it needs to do in your body. So it comes in. I know people who love it for heart health. We have eye health. Now we have iron and blood, cardiovascular health. It's amazing. Shannon shared that she had a customer text her today about NingXia Red and multigreens. Her iron went up and her restless legs went away. So how cool is that? Whenever we can help people connect. Thank you for sharing that, Shannon. Being able to help people get what they need nutritionally. And for some people, it's not a starting point. They're not going to change their diet, but they'll drink NingXia Red. I'd love to share the story of when my two youngest came to live with us. And from a nutrition standpoint, they were they were lacking in a lot of nutrition. And so immediately I started them on minerals and NingXia Red, and they didn't like it at all. So I had to gradually work them up to wean them off of what they had been drinking, and then get them into NingXia Red and change their taste buds pretty much. And what's cool is then I have about 3 months later, I have a video of my daughter at the time, who she was 3, she's 7 now. And she was saying, I need more NingXia. And I said, well, you need to drink your water first. And she took 2 sips and she goes, more NingXia, please. So I want red juice, mama. And so that's something that if we can change, help people change things that, give them something that tastes good, like NingXia Red that tastes so good. My husband, he used to drink Dr. Pepper like it was going out of style. And when he started getting on a consistent regimen with NingXia Red, and this has been, close to 16 years ago, when we first started, I didn't buy it. So he didn't make an effort to go to the store and get it. So he had one time, just, randomly, and he goes, it tasted horrible. It's because his taste buds were changing. And now he drinks mostly water, but he will drink tea at home too. But that's about it. And it's unsweet tea. So if you're looking for something to kind of help, if you have a family member who's really has, you want to kind of change their trajectory and get their trajectory back towards a healthy way, NingXia Red is a great starting point. And for those of you who are new and have never become members of Young Living, please reach out, because several of us here, the person who invited you to this call, have coupons that will expire this month. If you want to get started with NingXia Red, we have 10% off vouchers. We can help you get started right away. So please do not, if you haven't tried NingXia Red, if you haven't been using it yet, please don't go another day. Get you some. And if you have invited someone to this call who has not tried NingXia Red, get them a sample. These little packets that have 2 ounces in them, we love to have them for travel, but I also freeze packets. And on days where we have extra stuff going on, or if we've had a tough day the day before, if I notice that one of my kids is kind of acting extra sleepy, I will put a frozen NingXia Red in a lunchbox. And by the time it's lunchtime, it's ready to go. We like to sometimes get them out and as a snack, and let them sit on the counter for about 15 minutes or so, and then it's slushy. It's a NingXia slushy. So all kinds of ways that you can help the people that you love to make better health choices. And of course, those of you who know what the red drink is, this is water with I put anywhere from half an ounce to an ounce of NingXia Red with some sulfurzyme powder, and then a drop or 2 of my favorite citrus juice. So lime is not in NingXia Red, so lime is a good one. And the thing about that is it helps with sulfurzyme has MSM, which is like it helps the body produce sulfur. MSM helps the body produce glutathione. There we go. And glutathione is the master antioxidant, which works as the Swiffer of the human body. So it helps with detoxification. So somebody who is using oils and saying they're allergic to oils or they're having a reaction to oils, we know chemically that's not possible. To have an allergy, you can have a reaction because of what your body is detoxifying. Sulfurzyme is one of the best ways to help them get rid of any reactions that they're having. But If they don't have sulfurzyme because they're new, you can help them with their NingXia Red and say, here's some sulfurzyme powder, and put this in with your NingXia Red. And it is a wonderful way to help new people as they're starting their health journey. Okay, well, we had a lot of good conversation tonight. I'm going to check the messages to see if there's anything else I needed to add. Oh, and Joanna likes to add amino-wise. Yes, amino acids to, when I work out in the morning, I will do amino-wise. In the beginning, sometimes I would put a little splash of NingXia Red or NingXia Nitro in there to balance it out because it was kind of tart. And so that kind of helps balance it when you're doing a workout, or if you've done yard work or anything. It's wonderful. Cynthia asked, how much sulfurzyme powder? Well, I think the instructions actually say like a 1/4 teaspoon. I can't even remember, because what I do is I take, Joanna's looking at it right now for me. I put mine in the lid and just kind of eyeball it. That's what I do. I kind of look and see, and I definitely do more than a 1/4 teaspoon. But I'm doubling down on my antioxidant and detoxification right now. It says, Shannon says a teaspoon, but I'm drinking more than one throughout the day. So I would go do more than one red drink. So probably over the course of the day, I'm getting well over a teaspoon. What does it say, Joanna? Sorry.
So no, that's okay. It's faster for me to just speak.
Yeah.
So it says 1/2 teaspoon to 48 ounces of, liquid. But these label recommendations are typically always for a healthy person. And so that's pretty important. It's going to be recommendations for someone who's living without stress and in a bubble, right?
Okay.
I mean, when I look at the instructions on a label, those are instructions for someone who lives in a bubble.
Sure.
And I don't live in a bubble. So I do what I know, and this has just been a game changer for myself and everyone in my family. Especially coupled with the NingXia Red. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, hope that helps.
Thank you. I love that. Those bubble people, which to me, living in a bubble sounds stressful. I don't think you couldn't get outside, right? So that would be horrible. So Tammy said, I use sulfurzyme powder, megacal, amino-wise, and citrus oils and water and ice. That sounds delicious. And megacal is very, has a lemony taste to it. So it kind of brings in more of the citrus. These are all great, especially this time of year, as you're going to be outdoors more and replenishing your liquids or replenishing your fluids and staying hydrated. And then Judy mentioned about Red Shot, and Tammy said, yes, she adds Red Shot, which is an oil blend. It's just delicious. It's got a little kick to it, a little cinnamony flavor. So you don't always have to do citrus. Excuse me, you could do a Red Shot, you could do, goodness, you could do peppermint, whatever you want that you enjoy. Peppermint's great for peppermint vitality, I should say, is great for helping feeling satiated. So that means when satisfied. So people who are wanting to curb their appetite and help with cravings, peppermint and spearmint are really good options. Sleek essence would be a good one as well. Frankincense and orange are good together. Ooh, Tammy. Now we're going to get into the NingXia Red shots. So for those of you who are new, I want to thank you tonight for joining. Make sure that you're texting. I'm going to make sure that you all get our message for next week. If you can text the word teach me, I'm sorry, not word, phrase, and don't put a space in it. You put the words teach me, and you can send it to this number right here. And that will allow you to get these texts every week. And yes, thank you, Judy. Just like that, teach me, no spaces. to the number that's there, and you will be able to get these messages every week. You won't ever miss another one. So anybody, we have these calls every week at the same time. So for those of you who are new, please join us. Next week, we're going to be talking about savvy minerals, which we've been talking about getting, ditching and switching, getting rid of the old cleaners. We talked about that a couple weeks ago in your home, your traditional cleaners. We've talked now tonight was more about getting rid of your the beverages that you need for energy, and switching it out with the NingXia products, with your NingXia Red, which is a red juice, with NingXia Nitro, which is a B complex that has amazing brain vitamins in it. It has Korean ginseng, it has D-ribose. NingXia Nitro is a little shot that I've actually started giving to one of my children who's going through some neurofeedback therapy for her brain. And then also we have NingXia Zing for those of you who really love carbonated beverages and pops. You can start weaning yourself off with NingXia Zing. And then of course the trifecta, if you put all three of those in a bottle, when I've had like a day, when I've like, okay, I have earned myself a NingXia bomb, and that is the Zing, the NingXia Red, and the Nitro all together. When we go to convention, when we go to leadership things, when we get a group of people around together, we are throwing bombs all the time. Okay. We are all drinking. We are enjoying this. Several of you were at Florida with me last year, and we were zinging it up, baby. And so I would just encourage, for those of you who've never tried it and you're looking for a healthier start, please do that. And then join us next week as we talk about Savvy. Young Living has an entire line of skincare, personal skincare, as well as makeup that is excellent. And there's 2,500 banned ingredients in our line. Like 2,500 ingredients that are in traditional makeup lines, and they're not allowed in Savvy. So we're going to talk about that next week. Maybe have a little Savvy demonstration. So you guys definitely don't want to miss that. And we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to see if there are any more questions. Not shots. Okay, Michelle, that's great. Thank you to Li Ching and to Jan for getting you involved. We love having you on our calls, and please invite your friends next week, especially those who love makeup, which I was never a makeup fan, but I'm 46 now. So I decided it was time for me to be a grown-up and maybe start wearing makeup. So I have loved using Savvy Minerals, and I want to tell you all about that next week. So you guys have a great week, and I will see you later. Thank you for coming.